Good evening and welcome again to Pit Lane. I am Joel Thorne and Chad Breedlove is my co-host. How are you tonight, Chad?
Hey, I'm doing quite well, I think. It's Monday. Well, I think we're getting some rain at Texas got yesterday, but hey, it's other than that, we're doing okay. And yourself?
Well, I'm doing great because I don't have to shovel the rain.
That's exactly right. That is
it's
100%
right. It's all good at this stage of the game. So, but yeah, it is Monday. Welcome to Pit Lane. If you have just joined us tonight, we're not going to take up any more of your basketball time. Basically, we're going to talk a little bit about some racing, and we'd like to have your input. Join us on our Facebook page. You can stop in, check in with us at Pit Lane Racing Hub on Facebook. Share pictures, thoughts, commentary. Send us some questions. We'll be checking out while we're on the air. Anything that you want to talk about, basically, we are totally open. It's your show. It's not ours. Our name just kind of happens to be on it. But also, you can follow us at Twitter, at Pit Lane. Chad?
Yes.
Did you see any of the race today?
Did I see in the race today? Highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those
lowlights. If you're part of the Junior Nation.
Yeah, it was one of those deals that I'll tell you what. What we're going to have to do, Joel, we're going to have to sit down with our engineering minds that we have, right? We need to figure a way to have a way to cover a track for racing. So that way, rain delays ain't going to matter. Somehow, just have the track portion of it covered. Wouldn't that be cool? Can that be done?
No.
We'll pose that question to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking almost 50%. I think that's at least 4 races. So it's more than that. We've had 7 races that we had to deal with rain. Started off with Daytona. You wait forever. Happened in Phoenix. This town hasn't had a measurable amount of rain for 72 days. And what happens? Mm-hmm. Race weekend, it rains. I don't remember if I think it was Bristol's the other one it rained. It didn't rain at Vegas. It didn't rain at Auto Club. But it did rain again yesterday, obviously, because we didn't have a race Sunday. And then, of course, so, it's just just like that cartoon character we always talk about, how he's walking around, he's got the rain cloud over him. It's like NASCAR tracks have that, so much for the vortex theory they always preach about on Fox. Yeah, thanks, DW. That didn't work. But hey, they got it in. And the reason why people are asking, the reason why it was a Sunday day race instead of the night race, obviously because the Final Four is being held down there the same weekend. So they decided not to go on a Saturday. And but I'll tell you what, though, what a weekend down there to be, you know what I mean? Down at Fort Worth, all kinds of action going on. You've got basketball and you've got some auto racing going on. So good time to be down there in that area. So
yeah, just imagine if you just were trying to go out for a nice evening, meal, and you run into the wrong neighborhood. Whoops.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, yeah, it was interesting. Before we get started in the race, Joel, I happened to catch the movie, finally watch it, since we didn't get a race yesterday, the movie Rush.
Did you?
Yeah, I watched it with the old Formula One race with Niki Lauda and James Hunt. Mm-hmm. A really good movie. Well done. Of course, Ron Howard, he usually makes a pretty good movie anyway. I enjoyed it. But I tell you what, if it does not paint a pretty picture for Niki Lauda, it really makes him look like a jerk in the movie. I don't know if he was that way in real life. I don't know the man, never met him, but it didn't paint a very pretty picture of him in the show. But what a comeback he had with that nasty accident there. You want to applaud him for that. But even before the accident, I don't know how. The movie is probably pretty accurate, I would assume. But it didn't paint a very positive picture of his attitude, so to speak, in the show. But I definitely recommend it as far as racing. A lot of good, racing sequences in it. You get to see the old cars, in that show. So I'll give it a thumbs up.
Well, speaking of the old cars, the SVRA series is coming down to Indy in June, so, it'd be kind of interesting to see if they've got any of the Formula One cars from that era down there at that point.
Yeah, the old McLarens and things like that. Had some names in there. You hear Andretti and Fittipaldi and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. You never got to see the actor who played Mayor Andretti. You saw him in sit in his car with the helmet on, but you never saw who was playing him. So, heck, it could have been a 12-year-old kid in there. Who knows? But it was a very good movie. I mean, if Joel, I think you would have loved it. I mean, it's you're like, what's the old movie we used to watch all the time that has like maybe a dialogue of maybe 10 sentences in the movie. What was that movie? Grand Prix or something?
Right. I liked James Garner in Grand Prix. Really good liked movie. That. Now, which one did you like better? Did you like Rush or Grand Prix?
Rush. Because because I mean, Grand Prix was good, but there was hardly any dialogue in it. There was hardly any talking. But this movie here it was really good. I don't know. I thought the acting was better. It had some actual footage it showed, but a lot of some stuff was recreated, and they did a fabulous job with it. I mean, it was really, really good show. I definitely recommend seeing it. But hey, it's a race movie. You got to like that.
Oh yeah. Well, when Grand Prix came out, and I want to say it was 67 or maybe 68. I believe it was 67. But when Grand Prix came out, the camera technology obviously wasn't then what it is now, but they were still on the cutting edge. And I don't remember who produced that, but all the split screens and some of the special effects, just some of the camera angles and that kind of thing. I mean that was a pretty cutting edge movie in those days. But I need to rent Rush and kind of take a look at that. Yeah,
very good show. Now, I mean, it's historically accurate. I mean, it had to be. But I mean, can you imagine? I mean, the work. If you want to do a movie right, you're going to do your homework on it. You're going to research. Okay, what would this car look like? What were the colors? What were the numbers? What were the who was around him? What did the trailers look like? I mean, they just really did. Really did their homework. Now, hey, I'm not trying to call you out on this, Joel, because I don't mean to say. It was definitely before my time. I don't really remember anything.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Do you ever remember the actual incident, or do you remember the James Hunt and the Niki Lauda battle, so to speak, that year?
Well, I mean, it was a lot like Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt. I mean, they just hammered each other, every time on the track that they got the opportunity. But as far as the accident, no. I mean, I'm sure I've seen replays of it over the years several times, but I would need to go back and kind of replay that. Not to be punny, but kind of replay that in my own mind and kind of review that a little bit.
Yeah, I was just curious. I thought I'd throw it out at you there, but you'd like it. You definitely like to see it. It's worth seeing and written out there. Good movie. I was glad to. I'd like to see more movies like that. Actually, there's not a whole lot of really accurate movies like that. Like that movie Senna was really good. That was a really good movie. Usually the race. I mean. Yeah, it's a classic, but you go back and you watch it now, and you're thinking, like, Days of Thunder, it's like, oh, my God, you look at the racing sequences, and you just shake your head.
Oh,
like, it is so unreal. It's like NASCAR throws a caution when there's not even a piece of debris on the track, but here you got cars wrecking and tires flying and the cars spinning, they're still green. Okay.
Well, when you start, when you start talking about caution, that kind of makes me think about today's race. There at the end. Why don't we just kind of segue a little bit into the race today?
Let's do that. We had our movie talk. This was a movie critic hour there. For a while, I apologize. It's kind of went on a little roll.
Kudos and congratulations to your winner, Joey Logano. He and Gordon, man, that was great. And I'm going to be the first one to say I saw about the first 5 laps. I was out of town today. I was in Fort Wayne today, and I saw the first 5 laps, and I saw about the last 15 laps. First and foremost, the crazy start the Junior got. Oh my gosh!
Was that like lap 12? It was early in the race, wasn't it?
Well, he's like on lap. I think it's like lap 3 or 4. And man, he dove down in the corner, and man, he hit the grass and he went sailing. And I'll tell you what, man, he burned that buggy down. I mean, it was. I was glad to see him get out of that car because I mean that thing took off very quickly. Yeah,
and on fire and everything else. So now that's the thing too. At Texas, I mean, it is probably the fastest mile and a half. I mean, you're talking these guys are Harvick qualified with a speed of 198 mile an hour on Sunday, or excuse me, Saturday. So that is just
that's cooking on that track
on a mile and a half. Yeah, that's cooking, and they're doing speeds obviously when they get down in the straights over 200 plus. So yeah, that's a very fast track, and you hit that grass, that's usually not a good thing going that speed. So yeah, first and foremost, thankfully he's okay, and what was cool about it too, he admitted it. He took blame for it. He made the mistake. He didn't try to blame anybody or anything like that. So yeah, there is just such a difference, I think, in Dale's whole character this year. And I like it. I never had anything against Dale, but he always been kind of put offish or not really. But this year, he just really he's got a new attitude, and I like it. And unfortunately, the mishap today, but outside of today, he's having a pretty darn good year. He's very consistent. Won the Daytona and almost won the race following after Phoenix. So you really gotta hand it to him. He's, the way he's handling this year. I think it's because maybe he just wants to help Steve Letarte go out, on a winning effort. And
well, there's a new persona. I mean, I think, and by the way, that was lap 12. I had no idea where I got 3. I must have gone to sleep.
It's early, and when you have a 300-plus lap race, that's early.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that I've noticed about Junior this year, it seems like he's got a little different persona behind the microphone. I've noticed before in the last, just the last couple of years, he kind of. I don't want to say he looked like a social invalid, but he was very quiet, very reserved. I mean, for being in the public eye as much as these guys are. He's no Denny Hamlin or Brad Kay or anybody else when it comes to interviewing, But this year there seems to be, now I'm not saying he's aggressive, but he's, to me, in my eyes anyway, he's a much better interview this year than he has been in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years. And that's neat to see. And yeah, I think he is, he's definitely on track, pun intended, but I think he's on track for a good year this year.
I do too, and I want to see. I like to see Steve Letarte, go out good because he's a heck of a crew chief. He's going to be missed down there on the pit box. There's no doubt. I tell you, he knows how to call him, and I like how the fact when Junior races over at the nationwide races, how he'll bring him on with him to to call the shots and stuff too. I think that's pretty cool. They've got a good relation there.
And I'm sure that our buddy Wild Bill was on the edge of his seat if he was able to watch this live. Jeff Gordon, man, I'll tell you what, I really like the car. Number one, I like the looks of that car today, but he put on a show, and I really thought that he was going to pull that off, but man, Logano just had way too much for him, and I knew he wasn't going to be able to hold him off since he only took those 2 tires, the 2 outside. But man, what a great race! What a great finish! And when they came down to that last yellow, I thought, oh my gosh, here we go. When Kurt Busch I don't know, that was pretty bogus. I've got to tell you, that looked really, really bogus to me. I don't know if you saw that or not, but they dropped the yellow flag because supposedly Kurt Busch hit the wall. Well, he never tested, and Darrell Waltrip called it. He goes, boys, said something about, I don't know about that one, and I thought, you called that one right, Darrell, because he was a good 1.5 feet away from the wall. So I don't know. There was nothing scraped on the right side of that car,
and they called a caution, huh?
And they called a caution on it. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you hate to say, but it does not surprise me. In fact, we was talking about that today. It's just. NASCAR, I tell you what, they are just so, I don't know if they get paid every yellow flag they throw, but they are just so quick to jump that gun. I'm sorry, we talk about phantom debris all the time. That's the number one bogus waste. that is the most joke I've ever seen in my life, to call that when there's nothing there. Like I always said, and I think it should be mandated, NASCAR shows you the debris on track when they throw that flag. And I want to see real debris. I want to see big metal, plastic, right. Something. I don't want to see paper and all that junk. I want to see real stuff. Well, and then another thing with the like you said there, or even when the car does hit the wall, but it continues on. There's no damage. There's nothing debris on the track. He gets out of everybody's way and gets off the track. Right. No reason to throw caution there. They do it, and I don't understand that. There is why are you doing that? There is no reason. He's off the track. He's clear.
And the funny part of it is, it's like we've had replay in football. We've had instant replay now. They're going to start that in baseball this year. And, it's like, okay. And I'm not saying that I would be a fan of this. All I'm saying is I think it would be kind of interesting with all the money that's involved, okay, in racing and all the drama that everybody, I think, is kind of tired of. Now at this point, just like today, okay, when you actually saw that, there was no way that he hit the wall. So I don't know. If they could do a momentary replay on something like that, they may not do it during the regular season, but maybe towards the end of the season in a chase or whatnot. That might be kind of a sticking point for a few folks. It might be something that might kind of change the results of the season. But anyway, nonetheless, Gordon had a great run.
Right.
Kyle Busch, he also had a great run, man.
So they started way in the back, 29th. What a comeback! Finish top, finish on the podium.
Fourth place, Brian Vickers. He was another one that started deep, 23rd. Again in a Toyota. So you've got some parity here when you look here at the top 10. You got Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Chevy, Ford. But again, we've got Chevy 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Toyotas. And we've got 2 Fords. So that's fairly decent parity in the top 10. Kyle Larson.
There he is. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. The guy did a great job, man. I thought he was going to pull that off again there for a minute. He was coming on like gangbusters.
I'm telling you, that cat's for real, man. I'm telling you what. I would not be shocked to see him win a cup race this year. I would not be surprised.
Yep.
How many top fives did he just see? This is the second top 5 of the year. He almost won at Auto Club, finishing right behind Kyle Busch, P2. Mm-hmm. He's not just going out here as a rookie. Okay, I'm going to log it. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to log laps, get familiar with these tracks. No, there's none of that. He is just out there and racing. Racing hard and racing clean and racing good. He, to me, this kid, what I said before I've used the term, it's scary good. Kyle Larson's scary good is because, you'll sit there, it'll show an in-car camera, he just got his hands on the wheel like he's for a Sunday drive, and then they'll pan out, look at him on the track, and he's weaving out of traffic and passing cars. It's just like, man, he's the real deal.
Well, he has really grabbed hold of this opportunity, and he's making it real, and that's fun to watch these young guns come up like Kyle.
Yes.
Greg Biffle in a Ford came in 6th.
Fords were quick there this year.
Yeah, after starting 4th, and Matt Kenseth, after starting 26th, had a nice finish, P7. Clint Boyer, and check out these guys. Kyle Busch, 29th, finished 3rd. Vickers started 23rd, finished 4th. Then you've got Kenseth, started 26th and finished 7th, and also Clint Boyer started 25th and finished 8th. I don't care who you are or where you are. That's some pretty decent driving, and especially on that track. I like that.
Yeah, because that track was all for green from all that rain. It's an older track. It's right. It's a heck of a run up there.
Paul Menard had a nice race. Came in ninth.
He's having a pretty decent year. He really is. He's been there's another guy's been consistent this year. Hasn't won yet, but he's very consistent. He's having some top 10s. He's knocking on that door.
Well, and how many times has he played, the bridesmaid, or the dark horse, whatever you want to call him? He's got the talent. He needs that consistency.
Right.
He's got to get into that rhythm, and at least finish in the top 5 or maybe 2 or 3 races in a row to really get his sea legs, I think. Casey Kane, 11th. Man, you talk about starting deep from 32nd.
Yeah. Where did he come from? Well, but you missed Smoke.
Well, I did.
Another top 10s. The pole sitter.
Yeah, pole sitter, yes.
Boy,
yes.
I was glad to see him back on the pole. That was just good to see him get out of that car and win that pole. I was so proud of him. Very good to see him back.
I'm just glad that he's feeling as racy as he is, man. We really kind of wondered how serious that leg thing was. And
yeah, we really did. That had me scared. I'll be honest.
Well, I think he's decided to come out and kind of put the naysayers to rest a little bit. So, Hamlin, and I mean, just kind of looking down the list here. Eric Almirola, 12th. Denny Hamlin, 13th. Carl Edwards, man, he just kind of didn't have a good day today, from what I saw anyway. I mean, and again, acknowledging the fact that I missed most of the race, but what I did see, he just seemed a little flat. Just couldn't seem to get it going. Brad Kay, man, started second, finished 15th.
How many times has he been on that front row though, Brad? That's at least 3 or 4 times. I know he's got a pole as well, and he was on the. And then I think that next week Logano got pulled, and he was right beside him. And then he started going P2 this race. He's been very good.
Did you hear or did you see anything about what the jet dryers did to his hood?
I read something about that, but I wasn't for sure on what was all going on.
Well, and I haven't had a chance to really get into it in depth, but as we were watching him take the what I call the dry laps, just basically parade laps, and I don't know about you, but I really don't like the whole start the race under yellow flag condition like they did, and then eventually go green after, I don't know, it was 5 or 6 laps. I'm not a fan of that, but anyway, supposedly this air dryer just kind of jacked his hood around a little bit to the point where it was flopping around, and so they were concerned with it, so they decided to put some duct tape on the hood,
and that's a freaky thing.
Well, yeah, and that kind of set the tone. And then they got called for a pit violation. He was going too fast. He was trying to get back out. And, it's like, well, okay. And then I'm telling you, it was a tough day for him.
You almost would think that, okay, look, we're in NASCAR saying, okay, look, we're adding salt to this injury. That is a freak thing. Let's don't penalize him. Let's let him get back out there. I don't know, but who knows?
Without going over each and every single one of these, do you see anything here that you want to call out per se?
Well, Joel, I was at work today. I missed unfortunately.
Can I do it?
I did have the Lucky Danica shirt on underneath my work shirt, thinking, okay, I'm going to bring her some luck, but didn't quite have it today.
That's always worked for you, hasn't it?
Not so much recently.
Was that last 3-4 years?
Yeah, something like that. So,
hey, maybe this would be a good time to talk about our checkers or wreckers. What do you think?
Yeah, you got the actual tally and the numbers on that this time? Or?
Well, I do. Yes, I do.
All right.
Let me just pull these up here. If I were you, I'm just saying here, if I were you, I'd probably quit now.
I'm that far ahead, huh?
Yeah. Somebody's ahead, and it's not you. You picked Danica to win the 500, and I picked Jimmy Johnson. So I started out 6-0 in points. Phoenix, you picked Kevin Harvick.
Right.
And you got 10 points.
And he won.
He won. That's exactly right. 10 points for first. I picked Jeff Gordon. I got 6 points, so I'm still leading 12-10. Las Vegas. Who did you pick? That was her track. That's a hint.
Right. I took Danica, mile and a half again.
Okay. And she got no points. I took Jimmy Johnson. I got 5 points, so I'm leading 17-10 after Las Vegas. Martinsville. You took Matt Kenseth. Got 5 points for Matt. And I picked Jimmy Johnson. I was kind of on a roll. I'm kind of glad I did. He came in second that race.
So, yeah, you got some more points, yeah.
Yes, I did. So, after Martinsville, I was leading 26-15. We had no predictions for Bristol and Fontana.
Right.
So, it was 26-15. Again, you picked Danica today, and I picked Jeff. So I am leading 35-15.
I think you got some points today. Some big points today.
Do you want to just go ahead and pay it forward and get the steak done now?
I think there's a steak dinner from last year, isn't there? She's going to cost me a lot of steaks.
Yeah. Here's what I'd be willing to do at this point. Here's what I would do for you, okay? Only because I like you. I would be willing to go and say, we'll take last year and this year already, just put it in the can, and that way we don't have to worry about points and all that. And we just put it in the can right now and just settle for Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. How'd that be?
Well, yeah, because 2 steak dinners at Roadhouse is equal to 1 at Ruth's Chris, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. I thought it was funny, so I'm sorry.
Well, I did too. I can smell what Chad's cooking. So anyway, Darlington, the Big D is next weekend.
The Lady in Black.
It's been probably called a lot of things by a lot of folks.
The track that's Too Tough to Tame. That's the other nickname.
Yeah,
It is a neat track. It's the Darlington Stripes. This is another track, kind of like Bristol and Martinsville. That if you down at the end of the race and your car is clean, you're not going to be a winner.
You're not racing. Do you remember who won there last year?
Matt Kenseth.
And of course, you're going to take Danica. That's her track. That's her kind of track, right?
I won't go that far. She's a mile and a half ace. She's a mile and a half ace in the road course ace.
Right.
So, it's I think you picked first this time. 'Cause I picked first last time, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I will take Jimmy Johnson.
He's kind of like you can't really bet against that guy. He's hard to do. You going with Jimmy Johnson? I'm going to take Kyle Busch.
I'm sorry, I don't think I heard you right.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
Do not adjust the volume of your speakers. What you're about to hear is the truth.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm going to go with Kyle Busch.
All right. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
I was thinking either Matt Kenseth or Kyle Busch. I thought, well, he'll probably take Kenseth. I'll go with Busch. But last minute, I think, I'm going to go with Busch.
Okay. All right.
Kenseth is tough at this track. He's got the record there for the speed. So it's a tough one to call. I'm going with.
You know what's interesting so far? I mean, I'm just looking here where you have picked 2 drivers other than Danica, and you got points both times. So,
wait, you see a pattern here?
Yeah, I do. Do you?
Yeah, really. Hello, McFly. Is anybody home?
Really? Okay. Well, I don't want to beat that horse to death, but
that was pretty good. But yeah, I do like Darlington. That's going to be a good race, and that's just to see. That's a night race.
Yes, it is.
That is what is it, Saturday night?
Yep.
Yep, Saturday night race.
And it is, here it is. Saturday night, 6:30 on Fox. Yep. I like the night races.
All right. Yeah, well, actually, wait a minute. Am I wrong? Am I reading that wrong? It's Saturday night race. Okay, yeah, they got the date wrong here on the side I'm looking at, because today's the 7th, so yesterday was the 13th, or 7th. So Sunday was the 6th.
No, that's correct. It'd be Saturday the 12th.
Yeah, the 5th. I'm losing it, Joel. I'm absolutely losing it. See, I'm off in the thing about that steak, about Danica.
I know.
It's all a blur right here. Okay, a Saturday night race. Yeah, that's going to be good. The Bojangles Southern 500.
You back on your meds.
I think so. Something's not clicking there. So that's going to be a good race. And it's a night race, and then so be sure to. And so far, I mean, I know it's a week out. Well, it ain't quite a week now. Let's just have no rain. Let's have a nice. So far, the weather's looking good at this point. So
yeah. You just never know, though. I like to call the rain kind of a NASCAR karma thing. It's like, really.
It's like, what's a NASCAR race without rain?
Yeah, let's have just a little bit more drama.
And but the thing here, I was kind of worried about all the snow we had, so many days of precipitation with snow. It makes me a little worried about, all over the country, really. I mean, what kind of spring are we going to have? How many? I think, unfortunately, we're seeing it. We're now, instead of it being snow, we're seeing a lot of rain, and hopefully I'm wrong, but I think we're going to see rain be a problem this year. It's the way the snow was a problem this winter. I hope I'm wrong, but It's not
well,
looking too good.
We may have to do the sunshine dance for the Indy GP because
that really scares me.
Yeah, you're not quite out of the snow season yet. I know.
Well, that's a month away.
Most people think so. Yeah.
It's early May. I've seen it. My birthday's the 2nd, and I've seen it snow, and it didn't stick, but I saw flakes coming down, which is still the principle of it. It was snowing on my birthday on the 2nd. By God, that 192 or 93 down there when I was in Indy 500 that year, it could have snowed any minute. It was so freaking cold.
Yeah.
I'm just, that's making me nervous. I think that's going to be an interesting show. What we do on that. But,
hopefully we'll have an Indy Chamber of Commerce kind of day down there, and it'll be nice and warm. Hey, guess who jumped to the top of the standings, top of the leaderboard for Sprint Cup?
I'm going to take a gander at it.
Wild Bill's Jeff Gordon, my man as well. Jeff Gordon is now your leader. Popped up 3 spots.
Isn't that cool?
It is cool. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a whole lot. Matt Kenseth, he stayed in P2. Carl Edwards also stayed in P3. Joey Logano popped up 4 big spots to 4th place. Kyle Busch came up 1 spot, 5th. Junior, man, the bottom just fell out for him.
Yeah, that hurt him today.
Yeah, that killed him. He went down to 6th place, missed 5 spots, or dropped 5 spots. He's actually tied with Jimmy Johnson, basically for 6th. They both have 228 points. And then you're looking at Brad Kay in 8th, Brian Vickers in 9th, and Paul Menard has cracked the top 10.
Right.
So, it's still, obviously still very, very early.
Right.
There's a whole lot of shuffling going on. But good to see Jeff Gordon at the top of the pile.
Isn't it, though? And look who's making the bubble there. You've got, I guess you got to take the wins out of the contention. I guess you got Austin Dillon right there at P12. That's pretty wild. I figured Kyle Larson, he had a couple bad runs, though, but I figured he'd be up there in the top 10, and I think we're going to see that, believe it or not. I really do. Whether we see that win, don't know, but I think we're going to see a top 10 berth, I think.
And 7 races and 7 different winners. How unbelievable is that? That is awesome.
Yeah, that is really cool. It's we're not seeing dominance by anybody. That does make, to me, it makes it more exciting. I'm happy to see that. Wouldn't have guessed it, but I'm going to go with it.
And Danica's rolling in there in P29.
Not so good. Can she make the top 10 by this week? Probably not this week. She won't make the. Can she make? Yeah. Can she make the top 10 by this week?
Top 10 what? In standings?
In points?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was kind of interesting. They had let me see how many were running today. We had 38 cars that were running at the end of that race today, which is, that's pretty good.
Pretty good for what it started out could have been.
Yes, yeah.
Because these drivers completely different track than what they practice on, and the way it was going. So,
yep. Okay.
But before we get off the NASCAR and everything, we got to mention this. We got to talk about the Nationwide Series. There was a race Friday night that went off without a hitch, and I got to tell you, a big kudos out to Chase Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
This cat, 18 years old, takes a math test the week that they had off, a big math test because he's still in high school.
Sounds like Zach Reach, doesn't he?
And just comes out here on the weekend and wins a race. And it's just amazing. The kid has talent, and what's really amazing is the guys he fought off. He was out there racing Harvick and Junior and Kyle Busch. Yeah. He didn't just win out of a bunch of starting parks. He was beating against some Cup drivers. The kid has talent. Rick Hendrick always made him into a developmental driver. He knows what he has in that kid, and I'm telling you, there's another kid that to me, he's going to be, maybe another Kyle Larson. I don't know. I think he's going to be good, and I like to see that. I like to see these up and young coming drivers like this that with this kind of talent, because they're going to have to replace some of these older guys that are going to retire soon. Jeff Gordon and Matt Kenseth, these guys aren't getting any younger. And it's nice to see these Chase Elliott's, these Carl Larsons, these Dillon boys that are coming up and looking really good. So I'm very proud. That was just awesome seeing him win. That was a great race. I watched that Friday night. No rain, so there was no problem with getting that one off. But a great run, and I did like that car that Junior drove. That Ragu car. It was pretty cool looking.
Yeah,
right.
I did not catch the nationwide race.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, it was a good race. It was still a race. Pretty neat. It was a night race. Of course, we thought maybe last night it was going to be a night race, but rain, Mother Nature had her own plans. Well, Joel, I think we're probably going to take a break. What do you think? Or you got something we need to say?
Sure. No, that's fine. Nope, that's fine. That's fine with me. We can step away for a few minutes. If you would like to be part of the show, we didn't give this number out at the beginning. We were talking too much about Rush and movies and things. But if you would like to be part of the show, give us a call, 1-877-297-8022. That's 877-297-8022 here on the 405. If you'd like to be a part of the show, discuss whatever you'd like to talk about, and we can probably accommodate that. We're going to step away for a few minutes, take a break, but we'll be back.
You're on the 405.
Thank you for shopping Amazon.com. When you do, that makes you a sponsor of the 405 Media. Click on the Amazon banner on top of our homepage. Then shop. Simple. It costs you nothing. When you think Amazon, click one more time on the 405media.com, then on the Amazon banner. Thank you. Off the Grid.
And he's also the only person I've ever seen that could write, "My dog just rolled over" on Facebook and get like 62 likes.
I'm also, just a correction, I'm the best looking person in social media too.
Off the Grid with Matt Hochman and Beckett Adams.
You have men in the United States Army running for cover and hoping the police show up.
The base is a soft target that's filled with brave Americans, but they got their hands tied.
I'm sure the jihadists completely consider it a soft target. It's like a shopping mall, or like you said, a school. It's probably worse than a shopping mall, because at least here in Arizona, you're allowed to carry.
In several of these shootings, Jared Lautner in Arizona, the Sandy Hook shooting, a number of these shootings always involved somebody who was desperately unhealthy in the head, but for some reason the argument always turns into, get away from my gun. What can we do to maybe help people like this?
Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on the 405media.com.
You're on the 405.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction.
The Friddle Show.
Gay marriage is not even legal in Arizona, so how is this cake discussion even relevant?
The Friddle Show with Crystal Heath.
I mean, this bill, I read it today. You can read it. It's 2 pages long.
The Friddle Show, live Monday nights, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
It's become acceptable to sleep around. Did you know that only 3% of Americans abstain from sex until they're married?
The Friddle Show, family-friendly, politically incorrect news commentary from a young Christian conservative perspective.
And if my disagreeing with a lifestyle due to my religious beliefs is now the same as hatred, then I apparently hate 97% of Americans.
Live original talk only on the 405media.com.
The president, he wasn't too far off base when he said that we're no longer a Christian nation, because quite frankly we're not. The general populace does not have a biblical worldview.
405.
The Wrap.
The best part is this guy's a gun control advocate who's been trading rocket launchers and weaponry with people as far-flung as the Philippines, Russia, and the Ukraine.
The Wrap with Amy Otto and Bruce Carroll.
David Ferdoso joins us.
Lots of scandal going on here. This feels a lot like 2006 right now. But you had Republicans getting into trouble all over the place.
One, is this new delay? One, surprising? Probably not. But two, to paraphrase Hillary, what difference at this point does it make anyway?
They're starting to realize how much damage this law is actually going to do and how much it's going to affect immediately upcoming elections.
There was a piece in the New York Times today where an author details like the numerous failings with his Affordable Care Act, and he starts longing for the health care that his dog has.
Wednesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on the 405media.com.
Thank you so much for protecting our kids from guns.
You're on the 405.
We are a bold and active voice for the unborn. We are Audio Girl Ministries, saving the lives of babies by helping moms in crisis pregnancies get past the crisis. How? Free ultrasound imaging so the woman can see the life she's carrying, and by supplying her with essential baby items, diapers, clothes, food, crib, car seat, all given with a loving and caring heart. Want to help? Log on to audiogirlministries.com. Make a tax-deductible donation. audiogirlministries.com. Thanks.
And welcome back to Pit Lane. You're listening to the 405 radio out of Los Angeles. I'm glad to have you with us here if you are. Get to talk a little racing before some basketball tonight. So it's kind of a Monday night sports night. Well, Joel, before we went to break, we were covering a little bit of the nationwide race Friday night, giving a big shout-out to the little kid, I guess you want to say, 18-year-old Chase Elliott winning the race. That's just really pretty cool. I'm so proud of the kid. But we need to go over the standings right now. We've got a new leader in the standings board. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah. Go ahead, man. I'm all for it.
I'm the nationwide guy, right? Chase
right.
Elliott has a 2-point lead over Reagan Smith, who was your points leader going into that night race. Still so close. I mean, it's so early, but man, that just shows you the competition. I mean, Ty Dillon, only 10 back in third spot. Elliott Sadler 4.
And Chad, Junior's got to be happy about Chase and Reagan being in there.
Oh, you're not a kid. And it's
Junior Motorsports, man. 1-2.
Right, they have really, really upped that program this year. I mean, he was good last year with Reagan Smith, he was your sole driver. But I think now that you've got two full-time drivers in there that are good drivers, bouncing ideas off each other, being consistent like they are, and then you get Harvick going in there racing some races with them, and then Junior, with some more knowledge and some ideas of how to handle the car. That team has really stepped up they've really stepped up to the play here, and they've really done a tremendous thing with that team, and it's so good to see. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with what they're doing. I think most people are with what they've been seeing. Yeah, you're right. Just got to be tickled pink with that. I mean, how can you not be?
Really.
Let's see, where did I leave off here? Elliott Sadler, P4. Trevor Bain, 5th. It's kind of surprised me, but it's neat to see. Brendan Gaughan, 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brian Scott, 7th. 8th is you're laughing, right? Dylan Swanewski.
Kwasniewski.
Well, that's worse. That's harder saying Kozlowski. We'll call him Dylan K from now on.
Yeah. Okay.
James Busher, and then Ryan Reed rounds out your top 10. But I mean, just look how close that is. I mean, you're talking 5th place. There's only 18 points out of first. I mean, that's just. I think it's going to be tight going down to the wire. I really do. And you know what I liked about Friday night's race is we saw a nationwide regular win.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see.
Do you know what's missing from this? Sam Hornish. Sam Hornish.
That's the only sad part right there. It really is. Yeah, I agree. I have to bring it up now. I'm all sad.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I do.
That's what he does. I pick Danica. He brings it around.
You talk about Danica, I bring up facts and stats. I'm sorry, man. That's just what I do.
I'm a stat man.
Yeah. Yep.
So nationwide also will be at Darlington as well. There's this Friday night race. The VFW Sports Clips Help a Hero 200. Well, that's kind of a long title to say, but Friday night race on ESPN2 should be a good one. Kevin Harvick is back in the 5. Well, he's been in that car a lot already. Of course, Kyle Busch is going to be back in the 54. That's no surprise. That'd make me a little nervous if I was if I was driving in this race. Let's see any other Cup regulars. Yeah, we got in the 20 as Matt Kenseth will be in the 20 again. And then Joey Logano in the 22. They made a good point, too, in that race. Kyle Busch and Kenseth, their cars are pretty similar. They're set up pretty similar in the nationwide race. And then you got their full-time nationwide regular driver, Elliott Sadler. His car's completely different because he's just a little bit different. He likes the car a little different. But he always seems to struggle with his cars. They never get that car right. It's too late, or it's too late in the race where they get it right. But where Kansas and Busch, it seemed like it's right at the beginning. I mean, Busch comes from the back to the front like he did, all the time. But their car just gets on, and they get on it, and they move. It's like, they say, why don't the Sadler just once say, whatever Kyle Busch setup is, I want that in my car, and I'll work with it. I'll learn it.
Well, let me ask you a question. How much of that do you think is the communication of the driver? Because, I mean, to me, there are some drivers. I mean, it's like anything else. There are people who can communicate exactly what they're thinking, what they're feeling. Then there are other people who say something, and it's like not what their brain is telling them to say at all. They just cannot get that communication factor going for them. Do you think that some of that could be just a breakdown in communication? I mean, and I'm not saying he's a bad talker. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he may not be able. I mean, when I think about people that could talk about setups, I think about Mark Donahue. I think about Rick Mears. Those two guys could exactly communicate exactly what they felt the car needed and put it into words that everybody got. I mean, they understood exactly what needed to happen to fix the cars. And especially, I mean, if they've got the same setup, the same, everything's the same, seems to me like it would about have to be a driver kind of a thing that would be breaking down. I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think that could be a part of it, I mean, Sadler's been in the car long enough to know, but, they were saying, I was thinking too, it's like, what Sadler ought to do just one time, you ain't got nothing to lose. It's early in the season. Just say, hey, Kay, this race, you give it whatever Kyle Busch's setup is, I want it.
Yeah, really.
I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn it. Because maybe that's what he needs. Maybe he needs to try something a little new, because he is a good driver, but he's been stale in that position, and they just seem like they can never get that car going where his teammates just blow him away, and he's a regular. I don't know. To me, if I was him, I'd say, look, I got to do something. You hate to use. I don't want to be ragging on Sadler, but it's like it'd almost be embarrassing. These guys can get in this car. They're driving the same equipment. Same owner, same equipment, same engines, but they're just performing so much better than me. I know the car's set up different, but I think if I was him, I'd say, okay, I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to run Kyle Busch's setup for one race, see how I go with it.
Now, let me. Well, no, I mean, and now, based on that theory, and I would tend to agree with that. And I'm not picking on Danica here, but a lot of people would say would give the same argument with Tony Stewart and Danica. Thoughts on that?
She likes her car a little tighter than normal. A lot of drivers prefer a looser car. They say loose is fast, not too loose, but loose is fast.
Tony comes from a dirt track background too.
Exactly, she does not. So she likes her car a little bit tighter, because a lot of times in any car, you definitely don't want a loose car. You don't want it real tight. I mean, it's I don't know. I just
balance.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think now the first year or so when she was in, I think maybe, nationwide, maybe she was getting a lot of terminology with the, Indy cars probably. I mean, I'm sure many times on a radio actually say, I need a little more wing. Oh, wait a minute, need a little more, but, yeah, I think it's just, I think they're different style of drivers. I mean, that's why you see in Larson, you see in Boyer, you see in Kyle Busch, these guys that Kurt Busch, these wheelmen that, race in the dirt, they tend to play just a more aggressive line, and they're just, because they're used to the looseness of the dirt, so good point. You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of dug that hole, I guess, bringing up.
Well, and I'm sure that there are some people who are listening, that would probably bring up the same thing if they had you here in front of them. So
step down in front of me. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, I guess it's tough being a Danica fan, I'll tell you. But anything else we need to cover nationwide before we?
I don't know. I think we're pretty much done on that one.
All right, well, we're going to move into the open wheel ride before our hour is gone again. Another quick hour. Boy, these just fly by. It's like you just get started. Next thing you know, you got to wrap it up. We had some Formula One this weekend as well. Bahrain Grand Prix, where we saw Lewis Hamilton.
You mean the Bahrain?
What'd I say?
I don't know, Bahrain or something.
Abdul Dubai, or how you say it. Lewis Hamilton wins the second race in a row for Mercedes. Kudos out to Lewis Hamilton for that win. I did catch a little bit of the replay. I didn't watch the morning race because it was on too early, but I did watch the little bit of the highlights of some of the actual replay of the race. They replayed the race later on in the afternoon because I thought, you know what, heck, NASCAR ain't running right now, so I'll watch a little bit of this, and then I wanted to see the movie Rush. But it actually wasn't bad for the Formula One race. It really, I know I probably upset some people with some of my comments I make about some of the Formula One, but it's just, hey, it was not a bad race this time. To me, road courses, that's all it is. I'm not about that because you just can't see the race. If you're there, you can't see the race. You see a couple corners and that's it. I'm not much of I dare see an oval, but this was actually a pretty darn good, decent race. What I saw of it, we had some good passing, and those tracks are just so. Man, they're so laid out, so clean. Have you looked at some of those Formula One tracks that they race on?
No, I have not. No.
God, they're just so colorful. I mean, of course, it was a night race, so you have the lights on. It looked really, I think they always make everything look really cool. But man, the layouts of these tracks, you got all these colors and designs all around the grounds, and I mean, some of it's really pretty cool. You can see there's a lot of money put into it because you don't see dirt. You don't see brown grass over here. I mean, this stuff is really, well kept up. You can see the money that they spend on these tracks and to get these races,
that's 3 out of 3 for Mercedes. That's pretty awesome.
I think they're here to make a claim. What do you think?
I would say so. And Rosberg winning the first one there in Australia, and then Lewis Hamilton, back to back there in Malaysia and Bahrain. I did see that they're now I'm trying to find it now. But I know that there's been some talk about the engines not sounding real good. They've been kind of a low throat. What did you think about the sound of the engines?
Yeah, I kept hearing that too. The first 2 races, I didn't think it sounded that bad. I really didn't. I mean, I love to hear David Hobbs. I mean, when he was over on IndyCar for that race, I absolutely freaking loved it. So I enjoy listening to him. To me, he's a very colorful commentator and funny to listen to. And that'd be another great interview. Oh my God, to get him on our show, we got to try to do that. That'd be great. But anyway, that is. I didn't really have a problem with the sound. I didn't think it sounded. To me, it sounded better than that wasp sound. They used to have that noise that they had all the time. To me, that was kind of annoying. I don't know what that sounded like, but it sounded like a race car. But I thought it sounded okay. I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. Have you heard him?
No, I have not. But I've heard quite a bit of comment about it, and I just like, you know what?
Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
But of course, your first spot place right now is Nico Rosberg, and then followed closely behind him, Lewis Hamilton, Nico Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso, and there's our Jenson Button. And, of course, your last year's dominator and last 4-time champion, Sebastian Vettel there at P6. That's kind of the shocker, I think, to me so far early in this get-go is, Sebastian Vettel not even being in contention on these races, but it's off early. We know it's too early to tell, but it's that's probably my surprise of the year so far.
Yeah, I need to watch a couple F1 races. I've not been able to catch any so far, but I like F1. I really do, but IndyCar is my first love. We all know that. So
right. I think the majority of us are, but we will move on to staying open. We'll move on to the IndyCar. We did not have a race this past weekend, but we got one coming up, and that's going to be in our producer's backyard, basically out there in Long Beach, California. Looking forward to that.
Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. That's an interesting track. Just looking at the layout, that'll be on April 13th at 4:40. It's going to be on NBC Sports. I like the track. So many of the, and I really like Baltimore too. So many of these.
Yeah, I'm going to miss that.
Yeah. That was a tough. It's a rough track. That was a rough bugger, but still a cool track, especially going around Fenway Park there like they did.
That's what was neat. I think the way the landscaping around, the scenery around it. But we've got some good stuff coming up. We've got the qualifying coming up on Saturday the 12th at 1:15. Now, actually, our time would be California's 3 hours behind. It's before 4:15.
Yeah,
4:15 qualifying Eastern time and they're of course of California 1:15 for the qualifying. The race starts at 4 o'clock. 4:45 actually our time, 1:45 their Pacific time. So good. It's going to be good, and I'm looking forward to this race like that. I think we picked already for this race, didn't we?
I don't think we did. Do you know who has owned that track with 3 in a row since 2005?
I'm going to have to say Andretti.
Sebastien Bourdais. Guess who's back this year? Sebastien Bourdais. So that's going to...
Yes, we did pick. I took Ryan Briscoe.
Okay, all right. Well, let me check the official stats here.
Yeah, I remember picking him.
All right.
I'm sticking with it. We can't change now. I'm sticking with my boy Ryan.
Well, okay.
Who'd you take?
I don't know, man. I threw away my notes.
I think you took Ryan Hunter-Reay.
I did. Yep. And you took who?
Ryan Briscoe. I'm going out on a limb here.
Okay. All right.
So I may do a little better on my IndyCar picks than I have my NASCAR picks. I'm gonna, I gotta step it up. I gotta step my game up here, man. I can bring my A game. My C game ain't doing any good anymore.
yeah, your C, D, and E game. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So we got it down. So it's official. So, yes, sir. Well, it was quick, very quick hour.
Yes.
But crazy race today. Hopefully it'll be a great race next week. Hopefully it'll be dry. So. Chad, I think we're done for this week, but you know what? We're looking forward to next month, man, and looking forward to next weekend as well. So, as the famous philosopher once said,
keep it on the track.